film that till last night had an IMDb rating of 3.9 stars with over 700 submissions done before the film even released is finally here. Gangubai Kathiawadi, directed by Sanjay Leela Bhansali and starring Alia Bhatt in the title role, has been one of the most anticipated films of 2022. Embroiled in chatter and debate mainly on the idea of the capability of an actor or what the story may explore, this film has been constantly in the news, not necessarily due to only good reasons. The film is inspired by a chapter written by Hussain Zaidi in the book Mafia Queens of Mumbai, where he has written about Gangubai Kathiawadi. A girl who had aspirations to become an actor in Mumbai elopes with a partner at the tender age of 16 only to be sold on the streets of Kamatipura to a madam for a mere 500 rupees. Ganga has to assimilate and understand that the only way for survival is to acknowledge and fully grasp what her new life will be like. Her journey of becoming Gangubai from Ganga basically forms the narrative of this film. How she becomes a madam herself, has political aspirations for the betterment of the conditions of women working in Kamatipura, befriending influential people like Lala, standing up for the identity of prostitutes in society and to be acknowledged as normal working class citizens. The comment section of this review is going to be wild as there are already preconceived notions and chatter about what this film may be like. You never really get the experience like a Sanjay Leela Bhansali film in theatres, and the fact that he releases movies so sporadically had me excited for the frames and journey I was going to be taken on. Here's me telling you the good and bad aspects of the film so that you guys can ultimately decide whether to watch Gangubai Kathiawadi in theatres or not. The underwhelming aspects. Potential for a tighter edit and not enough Vijay Raj. Even though the film is 2 hours and 37 minutes long, which is relatively shorter than a lot of the Indian movies I have seen recently in theatres, I could definitely sit on the editing table and chop off close to 15 minutes of the film. The first half of the film that presents Gangubai narrating her own story seemed almost seamless to me, but I believe that the biggest drawback of this film is that it does not have one form of storytelling that guides its screenplay. It ranges from Gangubai herself narrating her origin story to it becoming a chronological biopic. The narrator takes over the story in the concluding moments. The perspective changes from her reliving her own experiences to us watching it as an observer just like the narrator. It is in the last hour or so that you may experience the narrative getting bogged down by its slow pace, so be wary of the same. While the several relationships that she forms as the story develops adds much needed value to the character arc, her interaction with Vijay Raj playing the role of Razia Bai have to account for some of the most exciting moments. Sadly, Vijay Raj is not enough in this movie and you can only enjoy their brief moments that they share with one another, but the man is a force to be reckoned with and a character who I believe if was introduced earlier would have really become the crowd favourite. I almost felt like Bhansali utilized him with great fashion and then casually forgot about him as Gangu's story progressed. This is also a fair warning that I'm giving you that Gangubai Kathiawadi is the star of the show, so you may sometimes think that characters that lend great support get forgotten, but it's essentially to aid where Gangu is headed next. The good. Picturization more than the music. This is a highly debatable topic, but I want to defend the music of this film that I believe actually adds great value to it. More than the music actually, I believe in the supremacy of Sanjay Leela Bhansali on how he choreographs songs. One of my biggest pet peeves with directors is when they resort to several jump cuts during a choreography, and Bhansali, especially if you see his movie songs like Dola Re or Khali Bali, they showcase long shots with minimal cuts that actually translate into having a far greater impact with audiences. This is not only true for dance performances but romantic interactions between characters also, where each lyric or beat is supported by an advancement or an expression by a character. Take Meri Jaan for example. Its depiction is poetry if you think about it. A single shot between characters that have a fondness for one another. Gangu playfully messes with Shantanu's character of San, pushing him away, amused at him being smitten, only to be pounced upon, him not understanding the concept of Gangu saying no. Frustrated, she pushes him away, reflective of the trauma she has always felt while being dealt with just like a piece of meat. His embarrassment is endearing to her and she hugs him, only to signal him to caress her head because that's all she longs for, a sense of warmth, a sense of home where she feels secure. Dolida is shot beautifully as well, the long shots of choreography that transition to Alia getting into a trance-like state, twirling around uncontrollably only to highlight the severe trauma and angst she has deeply hidden within her. It's cinematic gold, honestly. My only gripe with the music of this film is not hearing Arijit Singh's Muskurahat in the screenplay, which according to me was the best song of the album. cinematography, set design, and costumes. When you think of traditionalists in Hindi cinema that took you on a different journey altogether, stories that are presented with scale and opulence and are representative of India's diverse history, names like K. Asif and Kamal Amrohi come to my mind. The only parallels that I can think of that emulate the same energy in the 21st century in Bollywood include Sanjay Leela Bhansali and probably Ashutosh Gowarikar in his prime during the mid-2000s. These filmmakers guarantee you an experience that is unique in theatres and hence it gears you up for their next project. The visual grammar that Bhansali integrates in his movies is unmatched when you look at commercial Bollywood. The production design by Subrata Chakrabarti and Amit Ray is exceptional, showcasing Kamatipura with this old world and rustic charm, but never swaying too far to make it not look rooted in India. This also has to do with the adept cinematography of Sudeep Chatterjee. Rather than the vibrant colors that we mostly get to see in Bhansali's filmography, frames through most of the film are desaturated. White and blue colors are prominent in contrast to the gold and saturated colors that popped in Bhansali's previous films. Representative of the characters in Gangubai, probably, putting on the brave face yet having so much sorrow and pain within them. If Shyam Benegal's Mandi was ever made by Bhansali, it would look exactly like this. The costumes by Sheetal Sharma, especially the white draped sarees of Gangubai, the Pathani kurtas of Ajay Devgan, and Razia Bai's eccentric and loud get-up account for great creative choices that lend a brilliant visual experience while watching this movie. The supporting cast. I was a fan of the work done by the supporting cast in this movie. Ajay Devgan basically comes in an extended cameo as Rahim Lala, a gangster and Gangu's sworn brother. The man has such a confident presence in front of camera. You were genuinely looking forward to sequences with him. He coasts through this film, and I know this sounds kinda cringe, but the man has a swagger about him that is only reflective of the years of success and experience he has had. Indra Tiwari as Kamli, one of Gangu's friends in the Koti, also shines, coming across as the chirpy, supportive friend who always stands in her corner. While I have praised Vijay Raj already, I have to say that it was so cool to see Shantanu Maheshwari in a Bollywood feature this big. I followed his career since his early dancing days and the man just exudes this boyish charm that perfectly fits the role in the movie. The most entertaining of the supporting cast, however, has to be Seema Pava, an actor who has aced the lovable mother in various commercial movies, but people forget that she is a thespian who thrives on different kinds of characters, and as Gangu's first madame, she shines. A money-hungry sociopath, she revels in her gain and could not care less of other people's suffering. A delicious character played with such ease by the legend. The character of Gangubai Kathiawadi. This narrative had recently started online on why we are portraying characters that are morally ambiguous such as Gangubai Kathiawadi. I find this narrative online to be absolutely hilarious, as the point of art, especially roles played by actors, is not only to restrict themselves by playing aspirational characters but to try and portray the entire spectrum, the good, the bad and the ugly. You think of so many characters in international movies with the most vile and disturbing motivations. They are lauded because of their acting performances. You think of so many iconic gangster films like Satya, Sarkar or Once Upon a Time in Mumbai, and the intention behind telling their story is to provide context of the rise to notoriety. This whole notion that Gangubai is an attempt to whitewash an individual who conducted malpractices is misplaced. As one, it provides context to the trauma that a young adolescent teenager dealt with and never shies away from showcasing the acts one gets accustomed to due to the environment in which one person grows. And two, most people didn't even know about her story before this movie was announced. An individual sold at the age of 16 years old, abused and tortured incessantly, is showcased to work for the cause of sex workers and their children to have the same opportunities in society that other people have is hardly whitewashing in my eyes. It actually presents an argument that is relevant even today. Alia Bhatt. Did we just casually forget about the fact that Alia Bhatt was always a proven actor? What is this new narrative online that doubts her capabilities? With the toxicity around Bollywood online, everyone seems to have a negative connotation even with talented and dependable actors. This is the same person that performed exquisitely in movies like Highway, Dear Zindagi and Razi. How is it that there was any doubt that she would not be able to pull off Gangubai? This argument that a more seasoned actor like Tabu or Vidya Balan would fit better is misplaced, as the movie chronicles the life of the character from the age of 16 to her late 20s. Whom better in the current generation of actors in Bollywood to do the same other than Alia? The actor really shines in this film, especially when she dons the role of the confident madame standing up for president of Kamatipura. She communicates Gangubai's scarred relationship with love and the sorrow that resides deep within her extremely well. From her drunk, hiccuping rant in the middle of the street late at night, her confident presence in front of Afzan, fearing being totally vulnerable with him, eventually breaking down on her swing, knowing the responsibility that she has for people beyond her personal needs, Alia has hit it out of the park. And no online narrative doubting her capability should make you think otherwise. As I previously said, a tighter edit and a more engaging second half would have probably elevated the quality of this film, but Gangubai Kathiawadi is a winner for its execution and what it stands for. Creators like SLB should be cherished for the theatre experience they always guarantee us. And that was the video, guys. Write down in the comments below what you thought about the movie. Please don't forget to follow me on Instagram. The handle is right in front of you. Follow me at JammyPants4. Also, please support us by smashing the like button and subscribing to our channel for weekly content ahead. Thank you for watching.